What's up, hobby maniacs? Rob Baer here with a look at the new Forge World Superflyer. This is the Xiphon from Space Marines, of course. It's that crazy looking Battlestar Galactica kind of Viper looking, all sorts of spaceships all rolled into one kind of looking thing that's just super awesome. And man, this thing, it's so cool looking. I mean, it's really neat to see some of the design appeal that Forge World does. And man, I'll tell you what, this thing is just so crazy looking. I think sometimes the appeal to these kits is just the fact that you can relate it to something that you've seen, on TV or, Artwork Hub or something like that. So I guess that's what a lot of the broad appeal comes from. But I mean, let's face it, this thing is pretty dope looking. I mean, we've never seen anything like it's kind of like a single fighter, like a dedicated thing. It's probably nothing we'd ever see in maybe the 40K universe, like as far as a plastic kit that kind of came out, because it's very I guess singular of purpose, like with what it does. I mean, you could maybe compare it to like the Storm Talon or like the Nephilim Jet Fighter, but as far as a dedicated interceptor, it seems to be something that maybe wouldn't fit in the game very well. It's like one thing, and its purpose is to like shoot down basically enemy aircraft, and you don't really see like the dedicated flyer duels out there that it doesn't really seem to be part of 7th edition, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It is a part of Horus Heresy, so this thing definitely fits into that right there. Obviously, this is the instructions, what passes for instructions with Forge World. If you're going to buy a Forge World kit, please make sure you're on top of your hobby game, or you have somebody qualified to work on your particular model, because these things are tough to work with. They don't give you a lot of instructions. They require a lot of bending, heating up resin and things like that, and it can get a little complicated. So I always hate to see when people spend good money on a good product and then they're unable to convert, as far as like putting it together and painting it. It's just sometimes they don't realize how involved it is. So make sure you do yourself a favor and are prepared for something like this. Even this simple looking kit, there's still a lot to it, and we'll take a look here in a second. So just kind of going over the parts, it seems very simple in theory, kind of how it goes together. Like the wings kind of lock into the engine kind of side pieces here that go on to the fuselage itself, which is two parts, front and the back, rear, aft, and fore. And then you've got, of course, the weapon system, a missile pod that goes underneath. You've got two different types of landing gear, one that's extended and one that's retracted, and then the pilot itself. Oh, and on top, what is that? A vertical stabilizer. So there's vertical stab on the back, and then you got your two main wings there. So in theory, it's very simple to put together. Now, we've seen in the past where it's a little bit difficult. Here is the actual, first assembly. You kind of see, they don't give you a lot of instructions. Again, this is kind of what I was talking about, but you kind of see how the pieces go together to form a sort of a sub-assembly. There are, on the intakes, the mark to show left and right, which is really good. That definitely makes it a little bit easier. And then when you flip it to the bottom, you notice that this secondary engine exhaust right here has the nubs on it, and these ones do not. So there's going to be, and obviously there should be two of those as opposed to one. Then you've got the missile rack here that goes in, and then you can kind of choose if you want to glue the landing legs on extended or retracted, and then the clear canopy goes on the front once you put the Marine in it. So it seems in theory very simple, but you get a bent piece, you get something a little bit out of whack, and then boom, you're in this you're in the crying game, I guess, because you're gonna be mad that it doesn't go together correctly. And even if you don't trim down a lot of the flash, which you're kind of gonna see right here, like that's a big chunk of flash. So let's zoom in a little bit on this, kind of get a better idea of what we're talking about for you guys. So I mean, right there, that's a huge piece of flash. Now that's on the outer edge of the wing, which the wings, I mean, if you look at the styling on this, it's pretty spectacular. I mean, you've got all of this, and you've got these little recessed parts here, a lot of really good looking detail. You got these vents, you got your ailerons, which I guess those are what those are, but they don't look like they split right there, so that's kind of interesting, but it is what it is. And then of course, super symmetrical. This stuff's done on the computers these days, because I mean, it's just very difficult to produce that by hand and even not mess it up in any way, sort of form. And then of course, you've got the two engine clusters that go on each side. And now it's really nice because there's where the landing gear goes, and then right here's the notches for the I guess that would be the exhaust, which we're going to see here in a second. It looks like that's what goes, yeah, that's going to be the exhaust, and then this is the front where you're going to have the intakes itself. So there's that, and then you've got a piece to bust it off, and here's the cockpit, and this is the aft fuselage, where it's going to have the cockpit there, which when you put these together and you trim the flash off, that's going to form your center fuselage section there, which kind of splits apart in the cockpit where the Marine goes. And then there's another exhaust port, and of course you got your little, what is it, your flying stand receptacle here. Now I've always noticed, and yep, it looks to be true, these are very notoriously difficult. I think when they render them on the computer, they do not translate very well to, oh, there it is, cool. Well, that one turned out very well. I guess it just depends on the direction you're gonna put it in at. So, like I was saying, traditionally these do not convert very well, but it seems like they did really good on this one because we haven't seen anything that sturdy in the past. So I'm about super kudos to those guys because they are getting it right. And then there's a flying stand. So let's take a look at the smaller pieces here. Oh, and of course the small crystal, or the small clear flying canopy. I'm gonna bust this guy out here. The small bag of parts. There's going to be your stabilizers, the actual pilot himself, the 2 sets of landing gear. So there's your vertical stabilizer for the back. Put these in a different pile here. Here's your missile pod that's retractable, but it doesn't really represent it on the model. Your las cannons, your retractable landing gear parts right there. Then you've got your different exhaust engine thrusters right here. So you got the one that goes in the middle and the 2 that go on the sides. Here's your intakes. Now remember, these are coded left and right, boom, because they're squared off, so you don't want to put the wrong one in there. And obviously the lights are going to kind of determine which way are supposed to be displayed outwards. And then here's your landing gear that you just basically display. You can display them retracted or extended, and it looks like there is one that's different. So that third one right there is smaller, it probably goes in the front, and these ones are the ones that go in the back. Part of the pilot here that's going to have the Mechanicum cog, because apparently he is a tech marine. All the pilots are tech marines, I guess, in the far future. And then there is the rest of him right there. So it's a little bit kind of an alternate kind of look. It looks a little red scorpion right there, but I think it's pretty cool looking. There is that. So that's pretty much the kit, to be honest. I mean, it seems very, very highly detailed as far as rules go. You know, it's a little, you can play it in 40K. It isn't quite as effective. I believe it is a armor 10 or 11 vehicle. I forget exactly. The experimental rules are out right now. It doesn't really have a specific rule set to play with. So it's a little daunting there. You know, anything that's that low of armor value makes it a little bit difficult to play with, I feel like. You know, if you get shot down. It, I believe, does have the strafing run special rule. Could be wrong there. But, you know, it seems more of a definitely anti, you know, air-to-air kind of attack roll with the 2 twin-link las cannons and then the missile pods. It's a very cool looking flyer, and we haven't seen anything like that in quite some time. You know, we've seen the land speeder, I guess it's what, land speeder Tempest, I want to say. That was kind of like a kind of a self-contained kind of fighter thing that definitely looks very similar to this, and that's maybe where more of the real world appeal might be coming from, you know, I guess, basically, you know, as far as, you know, oh my gosh, that thing looks so cool. But I think, you know, overall, this thing is definitely better in the Horus Heresy, and it just had its official rules come out in Book 5 Tempest, which just came out from Forge World as well, so you can definitely find that online. We also did a review of it here on the Spiky Bits channel as well. So, you know, Forge World's a great quality product. This particular model right here seems to go together very well. It seems like they're definitely learning. You saw with the flying stand, they definitely locked in very well. Very snug. It didn't seem like it was out of place, or that it would, the whole thing would topple over. It seemed like the center of gravity. The selection for the actual spot was very good. I've seen in the past with things like the Fire Raptor or the Storm Eagle that it was very difficult to get that flying stand into the bottom of the chassis, you know, and not have it basically fall off at any given notice. Very depressing when you have a huge Forge World flyer kind of fall off the stand. It's usually breaks into a million pieces, to be honest. And coming from the guy that had a Titan fall off the table, and I could probably put anything back together, it doesn't mean I have the time and or the desire right now to do that. So please make sure, if you have those kind of flyers, the flying stands are definitely locking into them very well, because you don't want any mishaps like that. Forge World's great stuff, great quality product. If you ever have a problem with it, contact customer service. They are awesome to work with. Can't say enough good things about them. They've replaced just about anything I've ever asked for, and proved that I purchased from them. Great people to work with, love their quality products. It is the upper echelon of the hobby. So please make sure that if you're going to work with this stuff, you are on your hobby game. Make sure you check out the rest of this channel. We have tons of good videos in here, like how to work, how to bend resin, how to do different things, modeling tips, all sorts of things. Because if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, because I love to help you guys out. This is what I do. I love these kits. I love to assemble them. I try to get as many on here as possible that I can get my little hands on. They're not always mine, but that's okay. Always get them back to everybody. So that's about it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you really enjoyed my unboxing or unbagging of the new Space Marine Xiphon Interceptor. Super sweet kit. I can't wait to get a commission for this and put one together and hopefully paint it up. We'll see how it goes there. If you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Check out the blog, spikybitsblog.com, and head on over to thelongwar.net. That's the home of the battle reports, and it's also the home of the webcast and a brand new podcast as well. We are very busy helping to bring the hobby back every week for you guys. So head on over there, check out everything that's going on. We have exclusive content, early access videos. You can check it all out for free for 7 days. Become a veteran of the Long War today.